Rollin'.
Roll with me, baby. Hey, welcome to the Mandcave. It's the only podcast hosted by two musical best friends with nothing in common except their name, Mandy. I'm your host, Mandy Fabian. Come on, spit it out. You're the other host.
And I'm Andy Kaplan. And each week we argue and debate over movies, books, and the latest trends. We disagree on everything. We are complete opposites. And Mandy's an asshole.
Yay!
Grab a couch. Let's get to it.
It's asshole day on the Mandcave.
Wait a minute, cut this shit.
I saw an old document where we were brainstorming names for our rebrand, and Crassholes was on there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We were going to be the Crassholes, Lady Crassholes."
I missed that.
Yeah.
That was a good call. We could still be. That could be our subtitle.
Right.
Oh my!
Welcome to Crasshole Town.
Yeah. Guess what? I had a really fun experience this week that I wanted to share with you.
I would love that.
Aside from seeing Miscast, which was great. And everybody was adorable, but your son stole the show right out from under the grown-ups. He was so hysterical. Well done. Very well done performance by Casey Clavins. Okay. This week, we were having some banter around the dining room table. And I said something like, survey says, because we were talking, they're too young to have phones yet. So dinner just sucks, right? For the next couple of years until we can all be in our devices. So, I said, survey says, and Patrick kind of giggled and Abby said, what's that? What's survey says? And I was like, oh, there was this show ages ago called Family Feud. And, it's this really fun, and Patrick and I were like, God, that was really a great show. And I was like, I think Family Feud is still on with Steve Harvey. And so I'm like, I'm going to record an episode and then we'll watch it. This is very unusual in my house,
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, we don't have the channel for the Steve Harvey one, but we did, for whatever reason, have the old classic, like Richard Dawson one, right?
Richard Dawson, where he kissed all the ladies.
Okay. Okay. You are really underestimating. You're underplaying that. Have you rewatched it recently?
No.
Holy God. It is the most cringeworthy, crazy thing you're ever going to see. The way that he grabs and kisses every woman, like multiple times, he just goes in and kisses all of them. Patrick and I were watching and literally like holding onto our armchairs and going like, oh God, oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no way he would last 2 seconds these days, right?
Right.
Oh man, it's so much worse than you imagine.
Well, COVID would have gotten him right quick too. If the Me Too movement hadn't, COVID would have, right? You can't do that.
I am telling you, I remembered him as like everybody's kind of like, favorite uncle at the party, but I didn't know he was so creepy. Like I loved how affectionate he was when I watched it as a kid. And now watching it, you're like, oh,
yes.
And then he's dismissive of them. Then he sort of insults them a little bit if they give a not great answer.
Did Abby and Delilah have any reaction to him, or were they like, this is funny?
Well, I don't know, because we were having such giant reactions. I mean, ultimately, it's a great game. It's still a really fun game show.
Yeah.
With really silly answers, but they liked the premise of it. But they didn't really think anything of it because they don't know, they haven't been assaulted yet, When they do, we'll have a ceremony. You'll know. We'll have a party for them. They've come into womanhood when they get sexually assaulted for the first time.
I can't wait to be there.
You should see what they wear to that thing. I mean, they're just asking for it. It's great.
Wow. Well, I remember a lot of cleavage. But our number one fandy, Carrie Jill, was on Family Feud.
What?
Not with Richard Dawson, like the new one.
No way!
A few years back. So perhaps Carrie Jill, hop on that Discord, share some experiences, some Family Feud.
Yes, please.
Experiences. And I have another friend who is just filming it now.
What?
But it's Celebrity Family Feud, so I'm not going to say the name.
Oh, Gwynnie.
I know.
Gwyneth Goopy.
I know.
Let's just call her Schmineth Maltro.
Okay. I know that you chose what we were watching this week.
Yeah.
But may I introduce it?
Of course, you did such a good job last week with LuLaRoe.
We had a fandy reach out who prefers to remain nameless.
Okay.
And I would like to quote some of the thoughts that this Fandy had about
Okay, great.
Inventing Anna.
Yes, Inventing Anna on Netflix, a Shondaland production about the woman who faked out all of New York society. Go ahead. Yes.
That motherfucking intellectually insulting shit show
Okay.
was how this reach out started.
It's a good reach out.
Bottom of the goddamned barrel of society and amplifying the crassest of capitalist instincts that includes Netflix paying off a goddamned criminal so that she can get a job. What the actual fuck? Don't get me started on Julia goddamned Garner. Now, I didn't know she was in this. The one I watched starred Justin Timberlake in a wig. But then the words jizz stain.
Yep. Wow.
Applied.
That's okay.
His kidney. I mean, this is this listener. Thank you for sharing these thoughts. This was a lot, and
so he loved it. So he he can't wait to get back in there. That's so funny. Yeah. Wow. That's a very strong reaction. I can't wait to hear what you thought. And I was wrong. I want to say that when I told you to watch it, I think I said it was a fake Russian heiress. And my apologies to the Russians. And that's the only time you're ever going to hear me say those words.
Well, maybe not the time to say that, but go ahead.
My apologies to like the ones that, I don't mean to, they've done a lot of bad things in the last couple of weeks, but claiming Anna Sorokin is a terrible thing for me to put on them. So I'm sorry, Russia. You're not that bad. She's actually German. And
who have never done anything wrong.
No, yeah, they're okay in my book. Love you, Germany. Miss you. Call me right
Clean
sometime.
As a whistle.
What is it with those countries? Oh, like America's so great. Anyway, oh my God, I just made us scandalous. Fandy's going to be writing in, hey, USA is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So we watched Inventing Anna, and I had a very surprise reaction. I want to hear what yours was.
Oh, I hate it. and it reeks of Shondaland. First, like I saw the, when you press play on Netflix and it gives you that little time code line. And I was like, an hour and 4 minutes? Hell no.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first note.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is too long for a pilot of anything. We dive right in. Is it the opening credits where we hear Anna Delvey's voiceover, Julia Garner doing this voiceover? So I would like Pete to play 52 seconds to 1 minute and 28 seconds. Please, Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
This whole story, the one you're about to sit on your fat ass and watch like a big lump of nothing, is about me. Ew, not her. Me. You know me. Everyone knows me. I'm an icon. A legend.
So she has that weird accent, and she says, everyone knows me. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know you. I still don't know you, even though I'm supposed to be watching this. Like, I'm so glad I didn't know her. It's like when people tell me Kardashian stuff and I'm like, I don't know which one that is. I'm so glad I'm not aware of who Anna Delvey is or was. and I never want to be again. But that voiceover was intriguing, I guess, because she said that.
Well, I got
and then it was all downhill.
Yeah. I got hooked onto the story because I read the letter. She wrote an op-ed.
Tell me about the letter. Yeah.
She wrote an op-ed from this is a spoiler alert for anybody who's watching the series and doesn't know how it ends. But she's writing a letter from Rikers, I think. Or maybe it's where now she's being held in an ICE detention facility because she actually gets out of jail and then she overstays her visa. So they put her back in and now they're going to deport her back to Germany and she's never allowed in the States ever again. And it's really because she embarrassed really rich people. But this is what's interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. Except I don't. Because here's the thing. We actually we watched the first two and I was like, I hate this. This is so, to your point, very Shonda-y, very like, it felt just like Scandal, only not as good. and it was all very fabricated, and the people don't feel like they're working in a real magazine. And poor Anna Chlumsky, what's her name? Anna Chomsky?
Klumsky. Yeah.
Oh, is that how you say it? Okay.
I think so.
I think she's a wonderful actress, but boy, she is just, it's very hard. She has a very hard role here. She's complainy and bitchy about everything. And just like, it's pretty tough. She's trying to play a tough cookie, but it just kind of comes off like, oh my God, please get that scowl off your face and just do your job already. That's like, and I it's interesting. They haven't given her enough. It's a little bit like you have to care so much about all of these rich people, to our listeners' point, that it's just like the bottom of the barrel stuff. So, but then in like episodes 3 and 4, all of a sudden you turn around a little bit. Like there is a tiny...
You got that far.
Well, yes, because I swore I would never watch another one after episodes 1 and 2. I was like, this is terrible. I think I slept through most of 2. And Patrick was like, I kind of feel like I need to finish this. We have a friend who works on it, who I don't think is a podcast listener, but we'll see. And so he's like, I kind of feel like I need to at least be able to speak to it, So we got into 3 and 4, and the story gets more interesting. It's more why you tune in. You want to see, how did this woman do this? And then it starts to make some pretty interesting points. Okay. I mean, she's awful, right? Obviously what she does is awful. But when you get into 3 and 4, it's her setting up the business, and what she's doing is faking it until you make it. And stealing. That was wrong. I grant you that. But she's also just sort of pretending to be this amazing thing. And she gets all these people, she wins all these people over, and they're going to give her all of this money to do this thing. And if they had just said yes, she would have done it. And she would have been her own self-made businesswoman. And
what is the thing? What is the business? The pilot does not explain.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, it's very, the whole first 2 episodes are just kind of, she's just whiny and on yachts, and it feels like you're on her Instagram account, and who cares? Nobody cares about that.
What is her business?
She basically wants to start, it's the Anna Delvey Foundation, and she's starting the new Soho Club, right? It's still a totally douchey thing. It's an exclusive club, like really centered around art and people who curate art. And there's like private little rooms, and there's rooms where people can stay, in a glamorous hotel. There's the guy who does Nobu is going to do a restaurant. Like, it's a very exclusive hot shit. This is your home away from home, so you don't have to be around poor trash,
Okay. And I have been to 2 Soho clubs, by the way.
Oh, have you?
True.
Really? Where?
The Hollywood and the Malibu. True story.
Wow. And how was your time there? What did you think?
I'm a hot shit. I thought that it was fine. The food at the Malibu one was really good. They had this like eggplant dip that was from heaven. Like I wanted to, rub it all over me.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's fancy. It's just that it's exclusive, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw Marsha Brady at one of them.
Oh, that's thrilling.
Like the real Marsha Brady.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty cool that I'm at the Soho Club and I see Marsha Brady.
That's worth the $50,000 a year membership or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was invited by member, so I just got to go have lunch. Yeah. It was, it's like a nice lunch.
Okay. So you're a huge Anna Delvey fan. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but so that's what she's trying to do. And she knows everything about art. She knows everything about fashion. She's pretending to be like these people, but in a way, she is like these people. She's just not actually an heiress. And she makes this point to a banker, played by Anthony Edwards, by the way.
Oh, Revenge of the Nerds.
Who we haven't seen in 100 years. It was amazing.
Okay.
We're like, we didn't even recognize him at first, but he did a great job. And then she says to him, like, if I was, an Ivy League guy asking for this loan, you wouldn't even think twice, which is a interesting card to play. But it also is one of those things where you're like, well, she was faking it till she made it. And a lot of people, that is exactly what happened. They're like handsome young men. They say, and they have 2 of them in episodes 3 and 4. They and her boyfriend Chase, right? These guys who were on the hustle. Anyway, it's one of those things where it starts to get way more interesting than the first 2. The first 2 I just think are like, ugh, it's like having your teeth pulled.
Yeah, I trust you. And I would like to go back to bashing this first one because that's the only one I watched.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a waste of talent, these really good actors. Anna Devere Smith.
Yeah.
I wrote on my thing, like, forget all of this. Can we just spend our podcast raving about Anna Devere Smith? She's such a talent. And she's wasted and awkward in this.
Yeah, they're all
this world.
real awkward in it. Yeah.
But like you mentioned the Instagram thing. So this woman made herself famous on Instagram. And the biggest turning point in the pilot is when Anna Klumsky, very confusing because there's Devere Smith, Klumsky, and then the thing is about an Anna. Yeah. So a lot of Annas, which goes back to the woman in the window watching the girl in the door, and I don't care.
The woman in the house,
but like they're always named Anna. Yeah. Everybody's always named Anna. So I'm not even letting you. But Anna Klumsky's character has a wall of pictures. And the music is so over the top and it's very dramatic and chilling, as if they've realized something major. And she's like telling her boring milquetoast fiance or husband, look at this. She has red hair. Look, she has blonde hair. Who changes their looks that many times all in 5 minutes? How can a person have different hair? That was like the big turning point.
Who is this woman? Yeah.
Who is she? How do you have different hairstyles in 5 years?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
What world do we live in?
That's the thing. Like, it was made into this very, very chewy, nighttime soapy, but like patronizing, right? Like really like not actual stakes. They made stakes with like music and weird, fun camera moves. And the fact, I think one of the biggest downfalls I'm still bummed out about, and I told this to Patrick, I was like, the biggest bummer to me is that the show starts off and it says, this story is absolutely true. And then it goes to another shot and somewhere printed on the shot is, except for the parts that are totally made up. And I'm like, well, that's that's a disappointment to me. I really want to know the true story. The fact that it is a true story is the only reason I'm watching this.
And Jer said that he has seen that so many times that he's sick of it. I don't watch as much TV as he does. But he was like,
What?
Yeah, no, because I watch reruns. I'm just watching like Golden Girls and Friends and Roseanne. But he's watching like the new zeitgeisty stuff. Yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh, we've heard that so many times. That's so played out.
Yeah.
So, there were so many eye-rolling moments. And what I've always said about Shonda Rhimes, and come at me, Mandy_Kaplan_Clavens on Instagram. I know Shonda Rhimes is a very beloved
avid
creator of television.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. But I've always thought all of her stuff appeals to the lowest common denominator. And like when everyone was running around saying the JJ, it made me cringe. It's like, that's not clever. That's not funny. It's just, I've never found, anytime I've checked out anything she's done, I tried Bridgerton. I try. I would like to find a series that I love, but I just don't think she's for me. She's not for me. Yeah. And I shouldn't insult all her watchers, but there it is. That's my opinion. There's some really, really bad writing I want to point out. So, Pete, there's a bad monologue by Anna's lawyer at 26:40 in the first episode.
Sometimes I put on that tux and I go with you to these events. And even though I'm with Margaret Vanderburn Porter of the New York Porters, and even though that tuxedo costs more than some people make in a month,
don't be gross.
even then, I still feel like one of the valets. Like I'm back in Long Island, and I'm parking cars to help my mom pay the rent. Like our friends should be tossing me their keys and giving me tips.
Honey.
Anna doesn't need her car parked.
All right, now everybody's heard it.
Oh.
Help my ma pay the rent.
That was real bad. Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible writing. It's now they've all heard it, so they know how cliched and over the top. It's just not how people.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere too, because this guy's a lawyer and he has dark skin. You know what I mean? But it came out of nowhere. You're like, wait, you're intelligent and capable and you're representing, I don't know, like there was nothing about him that screamed oh, people look at me like I'm the valet. You know, like it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. Seemed like a weird, all of a sudden that was his story.
Yeah. And I didn't think it was racist as much as classist, right? He was poor growing up and he married this very wealthy woman. And that's what I thought he was saying is like, I don't belong in this class. I don't think it had anything to do with his race.
Oh, I see. Yep. You're probably
I'm
right.
smarter than you.
You are. You are. Well, you just get Shonda, you know, in a way that I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. The casting I really dig is that there's a woman named Casey Duke who's like a trainer to the stars, and she's this beautiful, svelte. I looked her up in real life. She's like 60. She looks 30. She is in unbelievable shape. She's physical perfection. But they cast Laverne Cox, and the real Casey Duke I had to look up, not a trans person.
Oh, interesting.
And I love that the casting is perfect. Laverne Cox is physical perfection.
She is, yeah.
And so I just liked that. I liked that it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That you could just cast a trans person as a woman and carry on.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of people are doing that, actually. That's
kudos.
happening all the time.
Great.
Yeah. It still makes you go, but I didn't understand. Like, I've totally forgot about that character. But I didn't know that some of them are real people. I didn't. Were you
She's
looking
very
up?
real.
You were looking up all the real names and the real people?
Only with Casey Duke, because I just have a weird, like, I'm mesmerized by Laverne Cox. I think she's such an amazing actress and so stunning. So when she came on the screen, I was like, I wonder if this is a real person.
Ah, okay.
And I wonder if
gotcha.
the real person is trans, just out of curiosity.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But assuming if our listener who ranted and raged is correct, Anna Delvey is somehow making money from this through Netflix.
Well, that's the part that really stinks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they did pay her for her life rights. They had to pay her for her story. And she was obviously probably pretty easy to negotiate with, I guess, if she didn't have much to bargain. Didn't have much leverage there. Although maybe she did, you know. Maybe she's like, don't be ridiculous. My father has a trust fund that I don't even, they're like, stop it. We know.
Right.
The truth is out, dude. Yes, they paid her. And I think also this is one of those things, it can really put a really bad taste in your mouth. This show really glorifies massive, stupid wealth on some level. While it's also kind of skewering it because Anna's playing all these people and playing to their shallowness, you know? But it's a little bit like that show Succession, which so many people are like, oh, I can't stand it. All those rich people, they're stupidly rich and they're horrible. And of course, I'm like, I know. And I'm not even a money, like, I'm not like, oh, let's think about mansions. And you know me, I like wear sweatpants every day. I don't even know fashion. I couldn't.
But how much did you pay for those sweatpants?
Oh, like, I don't know, $1,000. That's reasonable, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I keep different pairs at my different houses, you know?
Good.
No, but like, but still, even though it's not the money that I'm so enchanted by, I guess it's like, I'm not like, ooh, look at their cool apartment. The stakes are it's so much easier to like watch people suffer when they're doing it to themselves, right? It's self-inflicted. They have everything. Yes. And it's fun to watch rich people suffer. I love that.
Yes.
So that
I know. You have said that before, and I think that's adorable about you. As you were talking, I tune out and I think of my own brilliant observations. And I think I figured out one of the real essential problems with this as a pilot. The assumption is that I know the story, so they don't need to give me anything to like hook me, right?
Yeah.
I know all about Anna Delvey and all these people. I knew nothing. They didn't plant any seeds of intrigue or here's what she ended up doing, right? It should have started with some form of a victim crying, like she took all my money and disappeared. I don't know. I still don't know what she did.
Agreed. 100%.
So I had no reason to keep watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And maybe if you knew the story, you'd be like, oh, I can't wait till we get into the details of what she did to these people. But I don't know.
Did you see White Lotus? Did you watch White Lotus?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Right. But if they hadn't have shown that there's a murder, right, or that someone has been murdered or someone has died right at the beginning of the show, You
Right.
you might have just been like, oh my God, it's just rich people problems again. We really love rich people problems, I guess, because also everybody wants to go to a nice place and shoot. You know?
Yes. Well, that was
The beautiful
that
sets,
was all
the beautiful clothes. I mean, everybody who's into that, you know.
right. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a real problematic storytelling pitfall.
Yeah.
Like she just
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm saying she, obviously it's not Shonda Rhimes herself doing all of this, but like give me something to cling to so that I care even if I don't care about the characters, which I don't, at least I want to know what happened.
Well, that's the thing. I get hooked with these, I think because I read her op-ed from jail
Mm-hmm.
and she was so unapologetic and still so crazy, like I did nothing wrong. Which is Looney Tunes, right? I mean, you go, well, you were in jail and now you're in detention again. Like you have to be able to admit you did something wrong, right? But to her point, she's like, I'm being unfairly pointed out. Like I'm being unfairly pursued. Other people, everybody does this. And she kind of has a point. Like when you watch this step out, you're like, well, you know, I guess you pissed off rich people, so you're not going to get away with it. But like, I don't know. It's really interesting to watch how it unfolds, at least episodes 3 and 4. Like I will probably watch the rest of it and I'll put up with the bad dialogue and the horrible use of these fine actors and the way that things are just way overplayed. I paused it at one point and I turned to Patrick and I was like, oh no, Anthony Edwards is so bummed right now because they had cut this scene where someone says something that's, you know, annoying to him. And he literally like rolls his eyes all the way from the left to the right and like kind of even like gives a little shake. It's horrible, indicating giant reaction that's not necessary.
Right.
And they used it. And that kills me. And I've seen that happen to Patrick where like I've seen if he's in a scene and he's like, oh shit. And you watch it, you're like, yeah, you're a way better actor than that. But what they did is they used all of your reactions that are the biggest, like probably you were getting warmed up and they used them because like, see, he's disappointed. And and it makes it seem, you know,
for the lowest common denominator for the people who aren't keeping up at home.
And I have been complaining about every single movie not telling me how to feel, right? Power of the Dog and Licorice Pizza. And there's all these movies that I'm like, I get that I get the storytelling. I get that it's a work of art, but I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not sure who I'm hooked into or what's really going on emotionally. I can't get on board. And I will say, even though there's not a lot of emotion in Shondaland, she definitely is not subtle at all. She's like a puppy.
No room for your own interpretation.
She's like a playful puppy batting it around like, you know. Yeah.
Now, who is this Patrick you keep talking about?
Oh, he's just some guy. I am good. Why do you ask?
Way to yes and that.
I'm sorry. I was like, he's my husband. I didn't have anything funny to say, but I was trying to, but then I was going to say that he didn't listen to the podcast. But, you know, we've said that a billion times. I didn't have anything except he's a non-listener.
All right. That's all I care about.
So we don't have to keep going on and on about it. It was pretty, you know, not our favorite, but I will say if anyone's interested, it does get interesting and better. And once you sort of get over the sticky awfulness of the camera and them trying to make you feel something, the story it is starting to get interesting. And I'll report back.
Thank you. I'm going to give it one man job. I did not care for it.
I give it 3 because it is getting better.
Okay.
And I do think it will be an interesting story. But again, this is where they get you. I'm going to have to watch the whole thing.
How many episodes is it?
Probably 8, I think.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, yeah, but I'm halfway
that
through.
Hurt my soul.
I'm halfway through. And they get so much better because they get into the real story. They're not just trying to mark time. We'll see. I'll let you know. That was a very robust conversation. Not as heated maybe as our listener would have liked us to get. And now I'm sure I'll get hate mail for many of my comments in this podcast, if not, you know, me not agreeing 100% with our
And where
friend.
should that hate mail go?
Well, you can send it to @MandyFab on Instagram, or you can go on Discord And join
You sure
us.
can.
We have a conversation room. If you go to mandcave.com/discord, there's actually a community channel where we can talk about the shows we're talking about. And there's also, by the way, a members only channel, which is has some pretty super sexy prom pictures of mine up there. I still haven't seen yours. And
They're up there.
I haven't
don't know
seen them. I'm going to have to go look.
They're there.
All right.
Yes, go look.
Okay.
Welcome to our new Fandy,
Oh, yes.
Mr. Gabe Duran.
Yep. Hi,
We're
Gabe.
honored and thrilled to have you aboard. And he went to mandcave.com/Fandy.
Mm-hmm.
He joined up.
You can join.
And now he's
Yep.
all up in the business. And you can be too.
Yep. He'll get birthday messages and extra special bonus content. There's all that fun. You can also, if you like the show, you can go to mandcave.com/merch and you can get some really fun t-shirts. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of Balenciaga ripoff this week in honor of the show.
Poor Pete's going, balance a what?
Fuck?
And while you're doing all of these wonderful things for us, please, right now, pause the podcast, leave us a review.
Oh, yes.
On Apple Podcasts, 5 stars and a review. Ask us a question. Tell us we're idiots, whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll give you a shout out and we would love to hear from you there.
Yeah. I'm not a big reader, but I will read those reviews every time.
It's God love you.
I love them.
And use small words for Fabian.
Yes.
And we went in reverse order. Man
did.
Cave is a production of True Story FM, engineering by Pete Wright. He's going to have a lot to work on for this episode.
So sorry about the
music.
Music by Ian Post. Oh, and True Story FM has some really great podcasts, actually. There's there's The Next Reel, Saturday Matinee. There's a new podcast, The Curiosity Codex, which is hosted by Kyle Olson. And actually, he's been talking with me about filmmaking. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah. So he was like, after I finished my movie, he was like, hey, I want to know about filmmaking. I have never done it. And I was like, guess what? I just did it for the first time. And I answered a bunch of
Well, feature
questions.
filmmaking. You've been making films for years.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. But the big one that nearly killed me and still might.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the Curiosity Codex on that as well. So somebody could check that out if they want to. Okay. Now I have a game for you. Yay! As always. And this one I'm very excited about. Well, I mentioned Family Feud in the beginning. So
Yes.
we're going to play a little Family Feud, but we're going to do the speed round at the end.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Lightning rounds.
Yeah.
And quote Monica from Friends, I'm so good at lightning rounds.
Okay. Wow. I didn't see that episode, but great. So here's your choice though. These are all things that have to do with Anna and Anna's lifestyle. So
Oh, crap.
you can get points one of two ways. You can either actually name one of the top 5 or 6 things on this list that our survey members said, or you can answer in character for Anna Delvey, and you will automatically win that question. So you can either answer in character Anna Delvey, or you can try to get the right answer, and you only have 5 choices for that. So you ready?
Yes.
All right. Top 12 questions on the board, or however many it is. Number 1. Name things you spend lottery winnings on.
Hair extensions.
Name holidays that involve gifts.
Christmas.
Correct. Name a dish or ingredient you might find on the menu at an expensive restaurant.
Caviar.
Very good. Name red flags on a dating site.
Ugliness, or if he is very, very fat.
This is excellent. That's a winner. Name a prize you might win on a game show.
A kiss from Richard Dawson.
Name an object that might have a warranty.
A car.
Interesting. Yes. Name things people lie about on resumes.
Being an heiress.
Name a reason you might go home early from work.
I am drunk.
Name an item you might save up to buy.
A yacht.
Very good. I'll buy that. Name a first date faux pas.
Being very, very fat. That's so fat.
She has a thing about weight. Good. I buy that. Name a questions you dread being asked at social gatherings.
Why do you look like Justin Timberlake?
Great. Name a profession that might use an alias.
Spy.
Yes. Name a gift that might be insulting to receive. Last question.
Anything from TJ Maxx.
Very good. You answered most of those in character. I'm very impressed.
I'm a method actor. I have to stay in character.
Yeah. Now, having experienced Anna Delvey from the inside, do you have a little more empathy for her?
Yeah, because when you're a dumbass like that, it's hard to come up with answers quickly.
Okay, well, you know what?
I need more time.
We'll work on the empathy thing. We'll work on that.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, so what do you got for me?
Oh my goodness.
It's that time.
Here we are.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, but I'm very excited about this.
Okay.
So it's a departure in that I don't want you to dislike it because one of my idols in comedy and creativity, Amy Schumer, has a new show coming to Hulu.
What?
That she has written and produced and is starring in. I think she even directed the first episode. It's called Life and Beth. And it is semi-autobiographical.
Oh, yes.
And I love Amy Schumer.
Oh, what kind of monster doesn't love Amy Schumer?
I don't know if it all releases at once or if it's just one episode. And we've been doing this lately where it's like get through as many as you can if they're available. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do for next week.
Oh, well, that's
Life and Beth.
That is a softball. I'm
so excited.
Did a Fandy offer that suggestion to you or did you just come up with that on your own?
I came up with that on my own.
Okay. I would like to invite in suggestions for my next turn. After Life and Beth at Mandy Fab on Instagram. Give me something.
Or in Discord. Oh, I'll see it in Discord, I guess.
Oh, I guess so. That's true. All right.
But be kind. Be kind. I'm a nice Mandy. I'm nice.
All
right.
Well, we'll see. Okay. Life and Beth. I love you.
Love you.
See you next week.
That motherfucking intellectually insulting shit show from Shondaland, celebrating the bottom of the goddamn barrel of society and amplifying the crassest of capitalist instincts that includes Netflix paying off a goddamn criminal such that she can get off and run her VIP con job over again. What the actual fuck? And don't even get me started on Julia goddamn Garner. I know. Girl gotta eat, but at what point do you wake up and say, today's the day I create such a disaster of a performance that my career shall forever be lampooned by it? Oh, wait, that won't happen to her because Jared goddamn Gucci Leto still lives. But at least we have Anna Klumsky playing the dogged reporter at the biggest goddamned joke of a magazine I've ever fucking seen. This show is a train wreck, seriously reaches in your brain with VIP chopsticks and pulls brain cells out of your head with every re-fucking-diculous word uttered. Anna Devere Smith, she's a revelation in so many things. How did she ever agree to this shitbag of a show? And Terry Kinney, he of Oz and Billions, now he's got this jizz stain on his CV. But you know what? He'll still work. All of them will. Even the biggest piss kidney of an intelligence criminal at the top of this whole fuckwit ring, Shonda herself. Because we're all idiot shit magnets. And this scrote of a show is our true north. V-I-fucking-P.